Denzel, and thanks to Evergy for their generosity. I tell you now, I don't know if y'all caught the fact that we got 1,942 Facebook votes. Mayor caught it. I know Mayor caught it. He is very astute. I know he caught it. It's no, I think a little fate reared his head there for us to win 1,942 votes to celebrate the 1942 Kansas City Monarchs. A couple of other folks who I want to make sure I be mindful to mention. Our city manager, Brian Platt, is also here in attendance today and representing the 3rd district. Our district in which the museum resides is my friend, Mr. Brandon Ellington. Brandon, thanks so much, man, for coming out, being a part of this today as well, and for everything that you do to continue to support the 3rd District and the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Oftentimes I've said that there were 3 players in this community who deserve to be in their sports halls of fame. Well, Buck O'Neil is at long last being inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Otis Taylor should be in the National Football League Hall of Fame. And this man, the Jackson County executive of our great county, and of course, Frank White, should also be in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Please welcome Mr. Frank White.
Well, I feel like I need to sit down now because they've told everything I was going to say. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate being here. This is home to me. I grew up 10 blocks down Brooklyn here, and like Bob said, I went to Lincoln Junior and Lincoln Senior, and everyone in this plaza, I either knew, played with, or played for, with the exception of Jack Robinson. So it's really kind of neat for me to come back and see this and see where it's going. And you know, it's really kind of special to see Big John because Big John was my first roommate in baseball. The best storyteller you'll ever want to meet. So if you get a chance, let him tell a story. He's got a story for you. But many days I've watched from our bleachers over there in the high school. You could look over into the municipal stadium. So I watched many games from those bleachers. I watched Satchel Paige pitch 3 innings against the Red Sox. I was in the stadium to see the Indianapolis Clowns play. I saw Big John play in this stadium, and to be able to be here and be in, well, actually we're a little bit this way, but right field is over here. And earlier, someone had mentioned Lou Piniella, and Big John can tell the stories a lot better than me, but there used to be a door that exited out to Brooklyn, and all the cabs were parked along Brooklyn. So I think it was Lou that made the last out of the game. He was so irritated, just kept right down the right field line, out the door, grabbed the cab and went home. So he never came back. But we've got some great stories we can tell you, but I won't tell you today. But like I said, this is really awesome to me to be here and to be with everyone today. And I just want to take a minute to introduce a couple guys. Ron Finley, our 2nd District County Legislator, who's over this district, and also Brian Meyer, who is the owner of the Kansas City Monarchs, who allows me to come and coach every now and then when I'm bored. So when politics get to be a little too heavy, I go over there and coach first base and we have fun. But I'm really excited that I was able to come here, and I'm really pleased to see Big John. The best advice Big John gave me as a player, he said, the one thing I want to tell you right away is that I don't care if it's raining, I don't care if the sun's shining, I don't care if it's wet, I don't care if it's snow, I don't care if the ball hit a rock, I don't care if the ball goes in a hole. He said if you don't make the play and the writers ask you why didn't you make the play, he used a different word, but he said I just tell them I just screwed it up. So what that meant to me, he said we're gonna make our mistakes, we're gonna admit our mistakes, and we're gonna get better with no excuses. And so that's a piece of advice I got. And the second bit of advice I got was from Cookie Rojas, who said when you know when to do something and when not to do something, you're gonna be okay. Didn't know what he was talking about at the time, but later on I realized he was talking about the decisions you make on the field, and when you make them and how you make them is what's going to make the game either more difficult for you or easy for you. But here, I walked these streets many times. I ran my hands down the side of this building many times. All the athletes came out the right field side door, and we was too afraid to talk to them. and I just really felt like one day I wondered if I was ever going to play in the stadium. And Kurt, I did play here, but it was amateurs. It was an amateur all-star game, and so and then trying out here was a wonderful experience because I've never tried out for anything, and you got 300 boys trying to try out for. You didn't even know what you were trying out for, and so but it was a great experience for me to really have that opportunity to play professional baseball. And I think that most people, especially black athletes, we have the ability, we have the talent, but sometimes we don't have the fundamental skills to move us faster than we should. That move us faster than we want to move. Because to me, it's like what the academy did for me. We were able to do the same things over and over and over and over. And before you know it, it becomes easier for you. And just to give you an idea how fast it happened, I went from a guy playing 35 games in the summer, no high school baseball, and I was a month from turning 20 when I went into the baseball academy, and I was in the big leagues at 23. So it just happened that fast. And then having guys like John tutor me for another couple of years made it a lot better. But I just want to say I'm glad this is in my community. I'm glad it's going to get recognized. Even more, I want to thank Evergy for all the great work that you guys do for our community, and it's always nice to see companies give back to the community. And I don't think you could have picked a better project for this grant, because I think that these guys are so deserving. And I was honoring Bobby Bell the other day, and Bobby is probably, to me, the greatest athlete to ever play here in Kansas City. But just super. I just can't even, I'm all choked up, Bob, because when you get athletes honored like this, and you know them, and you played with them, and played against them, it's really fun. And it makes me think that what I did was even more special. And I just want to say that I'll venture here more. And where's Sean? Sean was with the city, and I came through here a couple years ago. I didn't like the way it looked, and I called Sean. I said, Sean, we got to do something. And Sean came over. He sent people over. They cleaned it up. Because these guys are great. These guys are to be respected. These guys were more than just baseball players. And in the words of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he said, as athletes, we are usually told to play and just shut up, just play. And he said the thing that as an athlete, what you want to do as a black athlete is you want to be a significant player. You don't just want to be a player, you want to be significant. And you want to take the trophies, and you want to take the championships, and you want to use those as currency to lift up your community. And that really rang a bell to me. And that really sticks with me. And I just want to say that it's a great honor. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for celebrating these great athletes and what this historic site meant to these guys, and also meant to what it means to our community as we celebrate today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Frank. And we concur that it was important that we restore this. And again, we thank all of our partners who made this possible today. And certainly, I want to take the opportunity now to bring up the leader of our city. And I'm so glad that, Mayor, every time you come in for a museum event, there's always something good. Yeah, there's always something good, man. I hope we just kind of, like Frank said, pull you away from the stress and strain of all the political stuff that goes on. We hope to keep giving you good events to come to, but more importantly, we thank you sincerely for taking time to come in and be part of these kinds of events and undertakings with your family at the Negro League Baseball Museum. Please welcome the leader of our great city, the Honorable Mayor Quinton Lucas.
Well, I heard so many good stories and so much outstanding discussion. I don't know why y'all letting a non-athlete, non-baseball player, even that tall fella talk for a little while. But I will say just a few things, and then I will sit down. For those who are wondering, who are a little chilly, might be bald-headed like me or just cold, we are in the bottom of the 9th inning right now, so we're going to be done real soon. I want to thank a few people as well, and then I'll have a few remarks. They have been mentioned already. John Hughes, Stuart Bullington, folks who worked for the city of Kansas City, Missouri. I'm sorry, Sean, folks who work for the city of Kansas City, Missouri. Although he keeps telling me he's trying to retire one of these days. But folks who, when somebody calls, when somebody says in some of our historic neighborhoods where a lot has changed, that we still want to see the beauty, we want to see it cleaned, we want to see it kept up, that makes a huge difference for a lot of us who are children of the inner city. And for those of us who were children of the inner city at a time when a lot of these structures were torn down, some of the houses were empty, some of the blocks weren't kept up, your work means a lot in terms of letting us know that there are great stories as we walk down the street, knowing that there were great people who made historic impacts in our community, and knowing that if we live off of 22nd in Brooklyn, that might mean that we are part of something absolutely amazing, even today in 2022. You didn't have to be around in 1942, didn't have to be around in 62, and you can make positive differences for the future. I want to thank some other folks who are a big part of not only the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum story, but our community story. Everyone who is on the board of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, could you just raise your hand and let us acknowledge you? I know we've done Brother Battle, right? Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yes, absolutely. Every day we work hard to build a better city, and I want to kind of center you board members and our president, CEO, executive director, whatever you want to call him, Mr. Kendrick. Because it seems sometimes when we go to these great events that it's just natural that it works, right? We have these amazing storytellers. We've got this great thing to sell and to share. But that's not natural. That is not the way it works each and every day. As a mayor sometimes, and I know the city manager knows it and the county executive and others, sometimes these things just don't work like magic. It takes instead some magic people who do the work each and every day, folks who are walking the corridors of Washington, Jefferson City, City Hall, the county courthouse, going to private museums, foundations, businesses, to say, you are going to know about the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And after you've learned about the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, you're going to support the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. You're going to come back, you're going to share. These aren't just stories about our past, these are key to telling the stories of the future. And Bob Kendrick, thank you for building the future of Kansas City every day. And so I promise I won't be long, because I already talked about this area as a perspective of a child of Kansas City. And something that is so beautiful for me, first of all, I always love following Frank White. Sometimes I feel like I'm ill-equipped to follow Frank White, because Frank can tell you a story about building Royal Stadium, can talk to you about playing here, talk to you about Lincoln High School, tell you everything, connect so much of what has been the Black experience in Kansas City through the 20th and 21st century. But as I stand here, I think about my family too. Folks that talk to me about the excitement that they had to have big league events in their neighborhood, down the street. Like Frank said, to be on the bleachers at Lincoln High School and to be able to see these amazing people come through town. Talk about how thrilling it was to have professional baseball in their neighborhood, professional football in their neighborhoods. I have an uncle who sent me a Chiefs Wolfpack t-shirt and talked about how in the late 60s the fans were the Wolfpack and how exciting it was and what it meant for them way back in the day. And he was saying, I still don't like the new stadium. And I said, Uncle, it's been there for a minute. But nonetheless, these people and these experiences that tell us so much about what Kansas City is, what we had in the past, and what we can be in the future. And so as I stand here and think about what people saw in years past, when I think about mayors like Ilis Davis, H. Roe Bartle, folks that maybe never thought there'd be a mayor that looks like this, I think about where can we be 50 years from now. And the thing that makes me proud of where we can be 50 years from now is that we're still telling stories of 50 years past, 100 years past, of people who have had amazing impacts. And people, by the way, like John Mayberry, Frank White, that they're gonna be talking about 50 years from now 100 years from now, as we continue to talk about how valuable our history is, our heritage is, how valuable this corner is, and how valuable Brooklyn and 22nd is for everybody in our region and our country. Mr. Kendrick, thank you for being a big part of this. Thank you all for being here to celebrate. And thank you for making Kansas City an amazing, wonderful, important, and valuable place in every neighborhood. God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor. And I think, Frank, you would agree with me, and Brian just referenced this, as we celebrate this once amazing stadium. It would be hard to forget George Toma. George Toma, who grew grass on this site like nobody ever has, and he employed a lot of black kids and taught them how to grow grass and take care of a stadium. And so our thoughts are absolutely with the great George Toma, who's still doing it to this day. And so I now want to bring up someone very special. He's a dear friend of the museum, a supporter of our organization, one heck of a golfer. And we've got something very special that we're going to unveil. But please welcome from BMG Advisor, he's the partner there, our dear friend, Mr. Adam Hawley. Adam.
Amen. All these stories have been incredible today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you not sharing the story of how much farther you hit the golf ball. As Bob said, I'm Adam Hawley with BMG Advisors. And our motto is playing your story. And so when I think about an organization that we want to be a part of, there is no better organization. So thank you for having us here. I have some special news. Can we bring Aaron up to?
Yeah,
So my friend Aaron Norris is a local artist and painter, and we were sitting on the patio one day and he told me about the painting that he had. I said, we got to get that to the museum, and he jumped right on. So Aaron Norris painted this beautiful painting. If we want to pull this off, absolutely, the great Satchel Paige. He's dedicating that to the museum today. Thank you. That's it. That's all I got to say. Thank you so much. Let's get out of here.
And I have to admit, they surprised me with this. Adam sent me a note one day and said, "Hey Bob, we want to donate that satchel." I had already seen it, and I had sent Aaron a note about how much I love that piece on Satchel. And Frank mentioned the fact that he watched the game over the bleachers of Satchel pitching for the Kansas City A's. But please keep in mind, folks, that Satchel Paige was reportedly 59 years old when he pitches 3 shutout innings against the Boston Red Sox, giving up only 1 hit in those 3 innings. Great trivia question. Who got the lone hit off of Satchel? Hall of Famer, but it wasn't Ted Williams. Yeah. A young Carl he gets that hit off of Satchel. He gets a double off the old man, and Satchel left him at third and shut down everybody else over 3 of the most remarkably pitched innings in baseball history at age 59, which means he could have been 69 years old at that time. And so, Aaron, man, thank you so much for that amazing depiction of the ageless wonder who coincidentally is wearing the road version of that 1942 uniform in that painting. And so this is really special. And at this point in time, I'd love to have all of you guys, all of my dignitaries here, come with us as we unveil our latest installation to the plaza. And Kurt mentioned the fact that this is a special day because we chose the timing of the rededication to coincide with a milestone event that occurred at this very site. May 6, 1945, Jackie Roosevelt Robinson did indeed play his first game as a member of the Kansas City Monarchs. And as I mentioned, as baseball and the baseball world are now commemorating 75 years of his courageous first step on the field as a member of the Brooklyn Dodgers, forever changing the game of baseball, but more importantly, forever changing this country. It is so important that people understand that it does not happen without Kansas City, and it does not happen without the Negro Leagues. So we are proud to unveil our new Jackie Robinson display as the most recent installation to this beautiful plaza, and folks will have an opportunity now to come and learn about Jackie Robinson's route as a member of the great Kansas City Monarchs. And so again, special thanks to all of our partners. You've heard from all of them: Draw Architect, BMG Advisors, our friends over at Evergy, also Carwell Banker, Uplife Realty, Hallmark. Thank you, Hallmark. I hope you all will join us for the rest of the weekend celebration, including our Jazz and Jackie concert. It's our first event since the pandemic. Saturday evening at 7 p.m. at the Gym Theater. We return with our musical salute to Jackie Robinson with the legendary vocalist Phil Perry in concert and a young, dynamic, smooth jazz keyboardist named Mark Harris II. Don't miss this. There are still tickets available. We look forward to seeing you guys. Come down, check out the new exhibit, and be back here and see old Bob roll down that hill tomorrow. Trying to walk down that hill, John. I don't know if this is a good business decision or not, man, but I promised them I would do it. But thanks to everyone for being here. Enjoy the rest of the day, and thank you, Buck, for not letting it rain on us.
How's good, man? How's you been? Everything good?